afternoon. We are privileged and honored to be joined by winners. And of course, when we talk about winners, we have trophies in studio. Talking about trophies, we also privileged to have a very elusive, can I say belt that many always look out for. When you see such a belt, then you know champions are in studio with us. We are talking about the WBA Asia. If I may read it, it says World Boxing Association. Of course, this is Asia Boxing Association and its WBA belt. This is champion. I didn't know they are this heavy, but of course, it is very heavy. We have the champion himself in studio, and I'll be letting you know who the champion is later on. Just know that champions are with us in studio. And we have a lot to talk about because still decorated by trophies, just been, awarded to Linet Ayuko. Linet, last weekend, the Kenya Motorsports Federation annual awards happened, and Linet was the best navigator 2021, having been with Hussein Malik for 3 rallies, including the Safari Rally, then later on with Maxine Wahome for 6 different events. Definitely by the end of the day, Linet Ayuko, the best navigator 2021 Kenya Motorsports Federation Annual Awards. Linet is here with us in studio to just let us know what is it that makes her tick when it comes to matters motorsport. All I know about navigation is a sharp bend to the right, flat out. I don't know what it means. Linet, good afternoon and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, PD. Thank you for having me.
Well, most welcome. And it's been a while. How have you been?
I'm good. I'm good. It's good to be here. I think we came just after Safari, I think.
Yes, after Safari.
Yeah, so it was a good season with Maxine. We were able to get new sponsors, Safaricom, and we were able to do the last 6 events plus also compete in the African Rally Championship in Rwanda. So we had an adventure with her. And yes, we are back. The season was over.
The season is over, but Linet, let's look at the season in totality. It was one year that there was a lot of pressure, more so from a Safari Rally point of view. As you started the season, were you looking forward to maybe being named the best navigator, or it was just a day at a time, as you always take them?
For me, coming back to rally was one of those things, was a goal. Because the year before that, I was undergoing some treatment. So even by the time I was starting the season in 2021, I was actually in crutches. I just regained my sight and function of most of my limbs. So I remember even going to theater when they were doing a procedure. I'd tell the doctors, this is the one thing I really want to do. So please note whatever you're doing. I want to rally. I don't care whatever else I need to happen, but this is the one thing I needed to do. So I remember when I even went to US for the final process of this medical bit. And then when I came back, that's the first thing, like I stayed 2 weeks and I saw the doctor here and he cleared my forms for competition. And I was telling my family, I'm rallying next week, first rally. They're like, are you crazy? But yeah, we ended up doing rallies with Hussein. I remember the Equator one, we ended up in a river and everybody was thinking, are you mad? What's wrong? Like, what is it you're looking for? And it can shake you, but I love rallying because it makes you want to wake up and keep going, and the challenges come, but you have to keep overcoming them. Ideally, to finish a rally is overcoming obstacles. So the obstacles I was going on in my own life needed to be overcome with others. So doing an event and finishing and helping a driver get to the end was quite fulfilling for me. So yes, that's why.
Let me ask Linet, how has the journey been, your journey, from treatment and balancing with rallying? As you rightly put it, back into the country 2 weeks down the line, you're already back into a rally car. How has the journey been, balancing both?
Sometimes it's not easy because the swelling in the brain, you can't control it. So sometimes you're in pain, but you still get into that car, call notes for the other person. They ask you, are you sure you want to do this? I'm like, yes, I came to do this. I remember, I think the toughest rally last year was doing Mombasa in Diani. So we're rallying and I was in so much pain, and I remember the ambulance guys and some drivers who had come out and they would track me every stage. Like just at every start they'll be there like, what do you need? Do you need painkillers? Do you need this? There were guys who were just concerned the whole point. They were like, do you want to continue? But my goal was, I really wanted just to finish. And then getting to hospital and being told, my friend, the swelling in your brain is quite big. And I'm like, okay, how are we fixing this? I have 3 weeks to Rwanda. So how are you fixing this situation? Yeah. So they change your treatment. Is my sight, am I losing my sight because it affects the sight? They're like, no. So we find our way around. Half of the time we find our way around the situation. So I just keep going because it motivates you. It takes your mind off everything else going on. It's not easy, even on my family. I know sometimes it's not easy on them to see me doing this sport and then at the same time you're undergoing this other thing. And to just come back and, it actually hit me last week before the awards that I actually did 9 events, full season. I didn't even think after 3-4 years I could do a full season. I knew rally would never be full season. It would be on and off. But to be able to just be able to do a full season, for me, that's a big deal. But on the same side, I mean, we get to inspire other young people. The opportunity to navigate Maxine for me was the same way other people gave me a chance when I was starting rallying. So when I was asked to navigate her, for me it was, this is another young person coming into the sport, and that was her first year in rallying. So I was like, why not also equally give back? And in the process, you equally both grow. I grew in the sport in a different way. She grows as a driver. So, and to get her to the end, all the events, apart from the last one, was a good thing.
Linet, let me take you back, and it looks like your passion for rallying didn't just start the other day. How did you get into the rally scene?
2 things. Mom will...
I think Mom is not watching.
She'll probably watch at some point. But 2 things. My dad died in a car, so I was really afraid of being in a car. And my mom is a quick driver, so half of the time she would be driving. I'd be the child at the back breaking her armrest and crying. Literally, I used to do all the crazy things in that car because I used to be afraid. I'd be like, I'd die. But my mom, even now, she still beats me hands down, even if we were to go head on. Yes, and she still drives a stick shift very well. She taught me how to do cars. She's the reason I love cars, by the way. But from that point, I was like, my friends were like, we need you to handle this phobia you have for cars. So they were like, let's try rally school. So that's how I ended up in Abdul Sidi Rally Academy. We did the class, we did the exam. I remember we did practicals with Azza Anwar at Jamhuri Park, and guys were screaming. Me, I was like, it's not that bad. Me who used to scream when my mom is screaming. But now in a rally car, it's actually fun, and I love roller coasters and everything. That was the weird bit. But after the practical classes, I started sitting with more drivers for practice. And in the process, you just now start getting used to this routine and you start loving it. So I started doing more events, getting opportunities. When drivers go out, I get a chance to go practice and learn. So that way I grew, and then people now started noticing you have the courage and confidence to do this. Then I got more seat time with drivers. Then I started doing more events. So that really helped.
And as we look at this, what was your career ambition from a rally point of view? When you started, what is that one thing that you really wanted to achieve in rally?
I still want to win. I still want to win the Kenya National Rally Championship and the African Rally Championship. Navigator.
Navigator.
Both. those two. When I get those two, I'll be satisfied.
So you're still not there yet?
No, those two are my goals. Not yet.
You've just mentioned Africa Rally Championship. How was the Rwanda?
Rwanda is amazing. The routes are fast. They hosted us well. It was a different, they're quite fast. Their routes are smoother compared to the Kenyan routes.
The Kenyan terrain.
But tricky. So I still want to do the African Rally Championship circuit.
It was a good outing for Kenyans.
Totally, and we had an amazing time, and also the other drivers within the region are quite accommodative, so it was really nice.
Let's now look at 2021 that you've spoken about, and 2021 that led to these beautiful trophies. Given out to you, and the entire Motorsport Federation clearly said this was well deserved, and everyone just, a standing ovation for you in terms of this. What was the toughest rally apart from the Mombasa, the Diani one that you've mentioned, because you're battling machine, you're battling pain and everything. Apart from that, the Safari?
Safari was a challenging one in terms of the dynamics we're used to is not what we were used to previously. Ideally, now we had to understand the regulations. We had to adhere to the FIA regulations. The scrutineering was more detailed. Our gear had to be up to standards. Our cars had to be at another level. The rules were different. There was tire marking. We couldn't do the things we were so used to doing in a local event. Now, this is an event that you call your own, but now it had an international element of it.
Normal is just not normal.
Normal anymore, and it made us grow. I am so grateful for Safari happening last year because it opened up all drivers. They had to grow. It brought in sponsors. We saw more corporates plugged into the events. It was the most viewed event in the world. In terms of competitors, we now have to read the rules. We had to adhere to the rules. We had to get certain tires, certain fuels. The cars had to have a certain padding. It was a different ballgame altogether. Like we were competing at par with the internationals. So
and safety was
at another level that we've never experienced. And you will see when people now are preparing for the next one at that level. So it helped everybody grow to that new level.
So in terms of preparations, from what I'm picking from you, going into this year's Safari, we will see a better prepared Kenyan driver.
Yes.
If I look at what we experienced last year, I'm just talking about a Kenyan driver because we still don't know who will be going out, but a better prepared Kenyan driver into the same with the scrutineering.
Yes, there will be more prepared drivers because you remember they ended up creating a Kenya National Championship
within
inside Safari.
And as we look at that, Linet, what are you looking up for 2022?
I want to see what will open up. Me, I'm an open book, so let's see what new things that are popping up in that field.
Being number one is always a challenge. Repeating that is always the biggest, challenge that many look at. But this is easy. Are you looking at defending this next year? This year. Defending is nice. I still have two goals I want to go after. Which is the ARC
and the Kenya National Rally Championship. I still have those two goals to go after. I would love to be like what Carl and team have achieved. If you can finish a season and you've won both at the same time, that would be amazing. Like I've reached my peak. I don't need to fight for more things, but yes.
Linet, for any person looking at you now, with all the challenges you've gone through in terms of medical and still going out there doing 9 rallies in a season, complete season, still coming back with all these accolades, what advice would you give them in terms of believing in whatever you want to do, going out for your passion, and that's your camera?
Never give up. Go for your goals. Nothing is impossible. You still have a life to live, so Nothing is impossible. Go for your goals. Go shine. Go shine.
Go shine.
Yeah, go shine.
Well, I mean, we can as well just say go out there and continue shining, because it's not easy. And like you rightly put it, sitting in that seat, many think the driver does the toughest job. But somebody who's been to the rally will tell you that it's actually you, the co-driver, who is in charge of the vehicle. How true is that?
You have different roles as a navigator. You have various roles, yeah. I mean, there's calling notes, there's managing time, there's keeping your driver calm, there's knowing what's coming up ahead. So you have various functions.
Briefly, I mean, help us out. You said you have, there is keeping time, there is keeping the driver calm. Do you literally need to keep the driver calm? Because
sometimes they lose focus, so you have to bring them back to what you're calling and what you guys are doing, and you assist them in when you get a puncture. Kiona, they've forgotten what you were saying. You remind them well inside that car.
So where do you specialize, you know, in terms of getting it right? Is it during the recce when you're taking your notes?
Yes.
Or, you know, at times you just say, I didn't see that, let's move on.
There is no, I didn't see that. That's why you have to recce well. You have to recce well to be able to track and see the obstacles and capture what is left out.
Well, as we do that, let's look at, you know, how you prepare your notes. Say, briefly take us through. You've gone out for the recce. What do you do?
We go out for recce. Most of the time, previously we used to be given notes. Now we are not given notes. So the driver tells you how they are grading the route. When they tell you how they are grading the route, it's dependent on how the car is set up. So sometimes you'll assist. Other times you just take their input. Then you capture the obstacles together so that you're able to, when you're doing like the second loop of recce, now you both capture the obstacles that are coming to see what's ahead.
And as we look at that, you know, you can always tell that when we get to this section, I need to just write flat out. Bumpy,
there are places you write bumpy, broken road. There are places you already capture all that.
I mean, it's interesting because different drivers have different ways of, you know, reading the notes. There are those who will go flat out, sharp bend to the right, sharp bend to the right. How do you calculate the distance to know that there will be a sharp bend to the right, say, in the next 100?
We have trip meters to help you know the distance. So some are 50, some are 70, some are 30. So the trip meter helps. For drivers who don't have others, you estimate or you use pointers to give you from this point to the next. You know this note is coming. But most of the time nowadays, most people have bought trip meters, so we're able to estimate the distance. So
you must be very sharp in terms of reading notes very fast and putting them aside and getting to know what next.
You get used to reading them quick, and because you are the one who's written your notes. I can't use your notes.
No.
I only use mine, and I know what markers, I highlight what danger notes are. Different people use different things.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And I mean, the most difficult part of it definitely as a co-driver is when you have to tell the driver, give commands, you have to slow down. Because there are those drivers who would be carried away in terms of...
Oh, you have to. Where there are cautions, there are certain levels of caution. So you have to tell your driver those two.
In terms of...
There are different cautions. There's a single caution, there's a double caution, there's a triple caution. Triple caution, you all have to slow down. And that one I'll be screaming from here till the back. Because I also equally do not want to be in the triple caution.
Correct.
A single caution is just, I'm warning you, just take it easy at that point, yeah.
So it's you to call single or I mean, to call out everything?
Every detail.
What about time management?
I do. If we are running out of time, I will let you know. If the mechanics are in service park are running out of time, I will let you know. If you're almost getting time bad, I'm letting you know. If it's me who checks in the time card. So that's the responsibilities on me. Yeah.
Linet, at this rate, I think I'll have to spare time and also join the Abdul CD. school to even learn
Yes,
more.
you
It's
need
never
to.
too late. It's never too late to do the same. Linet,
Thank
congratulations. Wishing you all the best. Not an easy journey, but we'll be monitoring and, informing Kenyans of what next in terms of, the next rally. And focus will be, how is Linet doing?
Thank
And
you.
of course, we'll keep praying for you and all shall be well.
Thank you.
Well, we have had the privilege of talking to Linet Ayuko. Linet was, named the best navigator, the navigator of the year 2021. Remember, we had a very, very tough, challenging year where Linet and Hussein in the Equator Rally, photos went viral with Linet sitting by the side, the car just being pulled out of a river. But it's a story to talk about another day. Linet, thank you very much. Congratulations. And, we appreciate you making time to be with us.
Thank you so much.